Indonesia's decision to officially induct its first French-built Rafale fighter jets is not just a military modernization milestone. It is also a visible sign of how Southeast Asia's largest economy is repositioning itself inside an increasingly competitive global arms market, shaped by pressure from the United States, rising Chinese influence, and changing regional security dynamics. The ceremony at Halim Perdana Kusuma Air Base in Jakarta marked the arrival of the first 4 Rafales into Indonesian Air Force service. But behind the symbolism is a much larger strategic debate over what kind of Air Force Indonesia actually needs to defend one of the world's largest and most geographically fragmented territories. The induction ceremony was attended by Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto and involved the transfer of 6 Rafale fighters alongside 4 Falcon 8X aircraft, 1 Airbus A400 MMRTT tanker transport aircraft, and a Thales GM403 ground-controlled interception radar system. Indonesian officials confirmed that the Rafales will enter service with Air Squadron 12. During the ceremony, Prabowo unveiled the squadron insignia on the lead aircraft and participated in a traditional water blessing, emphasizing the political importance Jakarta attaches to the acquisition. Indonesia originally signed the $8.1 billion contract for 42 Rafale fighters in February 2022. The deal became one of France's largest defense exports in Asia and represented a major breakthrough for Dassault Aviation after years of competition across the Indo-Pacific market. French officials continued lobbying Jakarta for additional purchases in the years that followed, viewing Indonesia as a strategically important long-term customer, capable of influencing procurement decisions elsewhere in Southeast Asia. The Rafale's entry into Indonesian service follows years of uncertainty surrounding the future composition of the country's fighter fleet. Indonesia currently operates a mixed inventory that includes American F-16 fighters and Russian Su-27 and Su-30 heavy fighters. Many of these aircraft are aging and increasingly difficult to maintain amid supply chain complications, sanctions risks, and rising operational demands. The Indonesian Air Force has therefore spent much of the last decade searching for replacements capable of balancing political autonomy, affordability, operational range, and technological capability. The Rafale solves some of those requirements, but not all of them. The aircraft is widely regarded as a capable multi-role fighter with strong electronic warfare systems, precision strike capability, and interoperability with Western equipment. However, it remains significantly smaller and shorter ranged than the Russian Su-27 and Su-30 aircraft already operated by Indonesia. The Rafale's radar size and fuel capacity place it closer to the lightweight F-16 category, rather than the heavyweight long-range interceptor role filled by larger Russian fighters. That distinction matters because Indonesia's geography creates unusual operational demands. The country stretches across more than 17,000 islands and spans roughly 5,000 kilometers from west to east. Air patrol missions over maritime zones, outer islands, and strategic sea lanes require fighters capable of operating at long distances with extended endurance. Larger twin-engine aircraft generally perform those missions more effectively than lightweight platforms optimized for shorter-range strike operations. Before selecting the Rafale, Indonesia had originally planned to acquire Russia's Su-35S fighter under a deal signed in February 2018. The Su-35 is a significantly larger aircraft, equipped with a powerful radar and long combat radius, designed for air superiority and long-range interception missions. However, the purchase stalled after the United States threatened sanctions under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, commonly known as CAATSA. Washington used the legislation to discourage countries from conducting major defense transactions with Russia. The collapse of the Su-35 deal became one of the clearest examples of how geopolitical pressure increasingly shapes global arms purchases. Indonesia did not formally cancel the agreement for several years, partly because Jakarta traditionally tries to maintain strategic neutrality and avoid excessive dependence on any single military supplier. But over time, the practical risks associated with sanctions, financing restrictions, and logistics support made the Russian acquisition increasingly difficult to sustain. The Rafale itself has repeatedly competed against Russian heavy fighters in international markets. Algeria, Kazakhstan, and Ethiopia all evaluated French fighters against variants of the Russian Su-30 family. In each case, the Russian aircraft secured contracts instead. Defense analysts often attributed those outcomes partly to lower political pressure from Western governments and the attraction of larger range and payload capacity offered by Russian designs. Indonesia's fighter strategy became even more complicated in October 2025, when Defense Minister Syafriye Syamsuddin confirmed that Jakarta had ordered 42 Chinese J-10C fighters. The procurement drew international attention because it followed combat reports from May 2025 involving Pakistan Air Force J-10C fighters and Indian Rafales during regional tensions between India and Pakistan. Although many operational details remain disputed publicly, the reported engagements increased international interest in Chinese fighter aircraft performance. The J-10C occupies a similar category to the Rafale as a relatively lightweight multi-role fighter, optimized for modern air combat, but without the range advantages associated with larger twin-engine platforms. If Indonesia fully proceeds with both the Rafale and J-10C acquisitions, the Indonesian Air Force could eventually transition toward a predominantly medium-weight fighter fleet, while reducing reliance on older Russian heavy aircraft. That possibility has generated debate among Indonesian defense analysts. Some believe the Air Force still requires a heavyweight platform capable of covering large maritime distances and maintaining air superiority across remote sectors. This has fueled speculation regarding future interest in China's J-35 stealth fighter, or even Russia's Su-57 fifth-generation aircraft. Both are significantly larger twin-engine platforms, designed with longer operational range and advanced sensor systems. The United States also attempted to position the F-15EX as a potential heavyweight option for Indonesia. The aircraft offers long range, heavy payload capacity, and compatibility with American systems already operated by regional allies. However, Boeing confirmed in February 2026 that discussions regarding Indonesian procurement had ended. Analysts noted that concerns over operational restrictions, maintenance dependence, and limits attached to American weapons integration likely reduced Jakarta's interest. This reflects a broader pattern shaping the global defense market. Countries such as Indonesia increasingly seek military suppliers that provide not only advanced equipment, but also strategic flexibility and reduced political conditions attached to operational use. Russia historically marketed itself as offering fewer restrictions, while China has increasingly expanded defense exports with similar arguments. France positions itself somewhere in the middle by offering advanced Western systems with comparatively greater autonomy than American platforms.